Okay, so for the player jump, um, the one problem I had for anybody that saw my original jumping video, I had a lot of problems with it, and my the problem that I never really specifically solved up until recently. I actually did it a while back, but I'm only recording the video now. But anyway, the 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 problem I had originally was if I run into a wall that's low enough for the player to jump over, and I jump, he doesn't always. If I keep running and I jump, he doesn't always go forward while you're running, um, uh, or while you're jumping, and that's just something that I kind of thought, okay, I'll keep it like that. The jump generally worked okay, except for for that. And then also linked to the same problem was just general air control. So if I jump and then while I'm in the air push left or right or whatever, I have basically originally I had kind of a window there where I could do it, and it worked on a single press event, and it kind of worked and it wasn't too bad. But after a while, you play test the thing enough, and it's little things like that can start irritating you. So I don't like that. Like if the control system irritates you in a game, it's automatically to me it's a bad game almost. You just have to get that control system right. So what I ended up doing actually an extremely simple fix. So originally I had a small delay for when you jump. So uh, you jump and then there's like a point two or some point one or point two second delay, and then you can push the button to go left or right in the air. So I took that out completely. That smoothed it out. Um, I can't remember the exact reason why I had to have that. I had to have. I know I had to have it because of the single key press event. It just didn't play nice, so I had to delay it. But I took that out completely, and instead of doing the pressed event now on the jump over here, so this event is uh, as soon as you jump, this event then becomes active, and you'll have to watch the jumping video to understand what's really going on here. But as soon as I press the jump, this becomes my player controls, and I used to have this on pressed, so I can press it, and the reasoning was that the Z the reason I didn't have it on repeat is because the Z keeps getting applied, and it screwed with my jumping physics. It basically applied a set speed, and I mean I do get velocity and all that, but if you keep repeating the button, that gets all screwed up. But so a simple fix. With all that said, I do use the repeat, and all I really did was to give it a re-trigger delay, which uh, you know as far as stupid things go, I didn't even think about doing that initially when I implemented the jump. Um, so yeah, I think my brain was just pretty much fried from trying to come up with how to make the thing jump. I just missed a small little thing like that. But anyway, so you jump, there's no delay, you can push immediately. If you want to go left or right or whatever, you can hold down the key, it'll move around perfectly. You can run into a wall and jump, and it'll as soon as you reach the height where you can move over the wall, it'll start moving over the wall, and all that stuff works perfectly just by simply doing this one little change. Now the jump actually feels like a real game, instead of like a mechanical, thing that forces you to do it in a way where you don't really want to do it in. That's just one of those things. I basically I just had to sort it out, and it ended up being like an extremely easy fix. The other thing I really needed to sort out, and it was something I actually just completely forgot about because I never came across a situation where it caused me any trouble. Where initially I had a temporary solution implemented for it was to reactivate the jump because I jump and then I disable the jump. Otherwise, you can keep jumping and keep moving upwards, and that's bad, obviously. So I disable the jump as you jump, and then I have to re-enable it. And originally, what I did, again, if you refer back to the original jumping video, is I simply delayed it. And obviously, that works fine for when you stand on the ground and you just jump, and you can work out the delay so that it just works right. But as soon as you jump off something much higher than just standing on the ground, that delay needs to be longer. And yeah, so that obviously was a problem. It just kind of slipped through the cracks because I never tested in a situation where I needed to fix that, or where it became apparent that it was a problem. So anyway, my fix for that is pretty simple. I still toggle the event same way, and then I do a trace directly down from the player, just to a target that I have just below the player. And if that trace finds something, then turn the thing back on. So um, you can essentially fall off a really high thing or jump off a really high thing, and only when this trace finds something. And again, it's running in a loop, so it'll keep tracing. As soon as you jump, it'll keep tracing until it finds the ground. And I put it on a fairly slow loop. It's not something that has to absolutely work uh, within like with a single frame. I put a zero point 0.2 second delay on that. I mean, I tested that with many different values, and the zero point 0.2, I wanted to make it as slow as possible because I don't like to have uh, too many loops and too heavy loops, like especially with these kind of things where it kind of detects collision. So uh, run the trace as soon as you jump, it loops the trace until it finds the ground, and then you can jump again. And simple fix for that. Um, and then on top of that, I'll just show this little piece as well, which it's more like a personal preference. Again, I'll refer back to the original jumping video. Um, it might have actually been a jumping video or an update to the jumping video. But anyway, I'll refer back to a previous jumping video, which I play the somersault animation. So when you stand still and you jump, there's no somersault animation. When you run and you jump, there's a somersault animation. And this is basically where that gets played. And it's pretty much getting the player velocity, comparing it to zero, and if it's zero, do this, which means don't play the animation. If it's bigger than zero, which means you're moving, then do this and play the animation. Um, but so originally, this would run directly from this node into this node over here. I added this little piece here because the problem I had was when you run into a wall and jump, you do the somersault animation. And in theory, like when you run into a wall, the character isn't actually running, he's standing still. Even though you're pushing run, he's standing still. But underneath, what's happening is I'm applying a velocity to the pawn, and that seems to be uh, what is get what gets read into this node. The get velocity is not the physical visual, like because the player is actually physically standing still while you're running into a wall. But when you get the velocity, it's actually getting the velocity that you're applying through the key press. Um, so I had to just come up with basically a solution to not have any velocity when you jump, when you jump while you're against the wall, while you're running up against the wall. So essentially what happens is when you, uh, as soon as you jump, um, you kind of set the set the velocity for that, right? So I mean, you set the jumping, so 600 on Z, so that pushes you up. Um, but uh, if you then, because it's a single thing that happens, it doesn't get applied over and over and over. It actually will then find the player movement velocity, like the side to side, or the X Y. It'll find it as 0. So I just do a second velocity comparison to 0. So I have to do the first one. I mean, originally I thought, okay, it's stupid to do it twice, but I have to do this first one so that it works for while you're moving around freely. And then I also have to do this second one for while you're running into a wall. Um, so essentially, I have to do it after this node. I have to do it after the set velocity for the jump. I have to do it again. So that's just like a small kind of I'll just call it a personal preference, so that when you run into a wall and you jump, you don't do the somersault. And the real big reason that I wanted to have that was so when you run into a low wall that that you can actually jump over while you're busy running into a wall, and you jump then, and you move over the wall so that there's no somersault happening there. So you jump over normally. So the somersault is a very specific move. It only ever happens when you run and jump. It never happens for anything else, and it's just like I said, a personal preference on that. So that's the jumping. That's like a few, like one or two really small fixes that I had to do on the jumping, and it feels really good now. It feels really smooth. I haven't come across any other glitches. It pretty much works as described. So yeah. In my next video, I'll just show a quick little piece of gameplay again, because I haven't shown anything for a while. So not a lot of Kismet stuff happening these days. When I get enemies going, then yeah, I'll probably end up doing some more Kismet stuff. But yeah, anyway, so that's it for this video.